Welcome to this week's edition of Inside Warhawk Sports on UWW TV. I am your host, Gabe Sadowski, joined by UW Whitewater Athletic Director Ryan Callahan. Nearly 40 Warhawk student athletes were recently named All-Americans for Whitewater across the university's 22 varsity programs. Director Callahan, what is the criteria for being named a student athlete on the Division III level?
Well, it's very similar to Division I and Division II, right? It's going to be your accomplishments on the field. We all kind of believe in the mantra that the better your team does, the more individual success that you're going to have. And we're fortunate that we've had a lot of team success, which then turns as individual success. So basically the criteria is having some pretty good stats and hopefully probably more than likely being on a pretty good team too.
On top of athletic performance, another set of students were recognized for their efforts in the classroom as an academic All-American. What goes into consideration for that selection process?
Yeah, it's a nomination process. Obviously, the GPAs and requirements for academic rigor is not necessarily something you're going to find in a website like a statistical category is. So a lot of that is going to be determined by the nomination process from our coaches, from our sports communicators. Probably the best one is the CSC, Academic All-American, because those are the ones that were more than likely All-Americans on the athletic side, and then they're intern athletics on the student side. So it's a pretty cool honor. We're fortunate to have a number of them, and that just means that they're really good in the classroom and they're really good on the field or the court.
What message do you instill in student athletes when they step foot on campus?
Well, powered by tradition's our mantra, right? So you have a long history of success in whatever sport you're in. Just this year, obviously, our volleyball team took second place. Christian Pasica was the, national champion for cross country. We've had a lot of success so far. And when they walk in this campus, that's the expectations. First and foremost, you're going to have a good experience, you're going to get a good education, and you're probably going to have a lot of success athletically. That powered by tradition is all the people that have paved the way for the athletes that are coming next year and 5 years and 10 years. So I think the biggest thing we instill is just, a lot of that. You're going to have a great experience with your teammates and your other student athletes. You're going to have a good academic experience, and probably some of the highlights are going to be your athletic accomplishments.
Why instill that specific message maybe compared to another kind of message?
Yeah, I think it's a holistic approach to the student athlete, right? When we talk about a good experience, that experience is going to be everything from meeting new friends, potentially meeting your partner after you get out of this place, as well as providing support for you academically, whether it's utilizing the advising center, the tutorial center, everything like that. We have a great relationship with UHCS as far as the mental health counseling. We have strength and conditioning coaches. We have athletic trainers that are very invested in our student athletes. So I think when we talk about, you're going to have a good experience, you're going to get a good education, and you're going to have a great athletic, career here, it's really that holistic approach to the student athlete and covering everything that the student athlete's going to be a part of. So, when we say, what's another message? I don't know if there's a better message than that that's going to cover all aspects of the student over the course of their 4 or 5 years here.